Is this bike a dying breed? One of the last of its kind? Today we're checking out the Trek Domane AL2 Rim Brake.
£750? That's not entry level.
Welcome to First Look, the series where we check out interesting bits of tech and give you the rundown on things that actually matter. Let's get into it. The Domane 2 that we have here is a size 52 centimetre. It's an aluminium frame with mudguard mounts, ISO speed carbon fork, Bontrager tubeless ready wheels, Bontrager 25mm tyres, despite Trek's website saying that it comes with 28s. 8-speed Shimano Claris group set with rim brakes, Bontrager alloy finishing kit in a variety of sizes based on the size of the frame. Same here with the crank link. The frame comes in two different colour options, the first one being a black and gold, the second is the royal blue that we have here. Both of them look fantastic. Possibly the best looking entry-level bike on the market? Big shout out to Team Cycles, a local shop here in Gateshead, who've lent us this bike and they ordered it in specially for us to give it a test. We're giving this bike back to them after our test and it will probably end up for sale, so let's try and not crash it.
We're now going to weigh this bike. The claimed weight is 9.57 kilos. If we look at the competition for this bike, I would say it is the Tribam 520. When we weighed that bike ourselves, it came in at 10.53 kilos. So let's see where this one stands against it. 9.55 kilos. That is... Was it 5.7 or 5.3? Was it the Tribam or this one? Which one was it, Francis? It's lighter!
One thing I really like about this bike is that, unlike some of the other entry-level bikes we've tested, it's been spec'd with parts that are around the right length and size and width for the frame size. So it's a 52 centimetre frame, it has a 90mm stem, and it has 170mm cranks. Something really nice to see on a bike of this size. Other fantastic component choice, we've been riding a few hours now. I think this is the most comfortable saddle I've found on an entry-level bike. Better than the Tribams, better than Halfords. It has a nice big pressure relief channel in the middle. Well done, Trek. Price. This bike, in exactly this spec, retails for £750. That's less than most big brands' prices. That puts this only just into our entry-level category. Now, I'm gonna make a case for this bike being pretty good value. Bear with me here. My first ever road bike was a Trek 1.2 back in 2009. It had an aluminium frame, carbon fork, not tubeless wheels, obviously, and a significantly worse performing at the time Sora 9-speed group set. It had horrible little buttons that you couldn't reach from the drop handlebars, a triple on the front, and it was just clunky and uncomfortable. It cost £650 RRP, which is exactly what I paid. Adjusted for inflation, today, that would be £1,092. This Domane is a significantly better bike, and it's essentially a lot less money.
The frame is alloy, the finishing kit is alloy, the wheels are alloy, the tyres are 25mm with tubes in it. It is literally the worst possible setup for how comfortable it's going to feel whilst you're riding it.
Carbon fork.
Okay, maybe not the worst, but nearly the worst. The only way we could make it worse is to put some of those solid Tannis tyres on it. And then it would be like riding on a wooden bike, perhaps. All that said, and I think it probably is due to it being spec'd quite well, and especially with that saddle, which has got a lot of sponge in it, yes, it is harsh, but it's not uncomfortable. It rides like I expect it to ride. You know the road is under your wheels.
Tyres are okay. I was definitely hesitant cornering in the wet this morning. It's now dried out and I feel 1,000 times happier. But yeah, this morning when I first jumped on the bike, I was like, I'm not gonna push it around the corners because they just feel, they're not set at GP 5000s, which they would not be able to spec on a bike like this because of the price. Who is this for? This will be a bike for people who, 1, live near a Trek shop, 2, people that want to work on their bikes themselves because it's significantly easier because it's rim brake, 3, people who want to save a little bit of weight compared to a disc brake bike, 4, people who want the best looking entry-level bike on the market. This isn't going to matter to everybody, but I think this bike looks amazing. I think it looks the best out of all the entry-level options. Both of the paint jobs, they do a black one with like some goldy yellow bits on. They do this blue, which just, it's beautiful. And it does matter to me when I'm looking at my bike in my kitchen thinking, am I going to go for a ride this morning? If it looks good, I'm more likely to pick it up. So that's a massive tick in my book of bike ticks. What about the sizing? The Domane comes in a decent range of sizes and has pretty good stack and reach figures. The smallest size available is a 47 centimeter, and it goes right up to 62 centimeter if you're a giant. When I say good stack and reach figures, I mean the frame set has a nice endurance geometry. So the handlebars are quite close to you and quite high up. So high up, in fact, I think I'd rather be on a size smaller than we have here. The 50 centimeter bike, despite having almost exactly the same reach, is a little bit lower down, and I'm speaking as someone who's used to an aggressive racing bike. The geometry of this, however, will be fantastic for most people who buy bikes and newer riders as well.
Couple of things to note. The sizing doesn't go small enough, in my opinion. If you are 5'2" or less, it's going to be a compromise. The frame sizes just don't go small enough. The reach is too long. A bit of a recurring theme in these first look videos.
2. The handlebar that this bike comes with is notorious for having a very long reach. It's 100mm reach, which is significantly longer than most drop handlebars, and it's going to mean your controls are further away from you. So if you're having issues with the reach and you've got one of these bikes, you might want to consider switching out the handlebar for something with a shorter reach. Brands that I know of that do really short reach handlebars, Specialized, they do one which is literally called the short reach, 50mm, or you could look at the Cade RHM. It comes in a variety of different models and a little bit cheaper than the Specialized on the lower end of the spectrum. I believe the reach is about 70mm on the Cade, so it's still a good amount off the front of your bike, and you might end up being more comfortable. Rim brakes. This is going to be a selling point for some people, and it's going to be an absolute no from others. The brakes are super strong, like as strong as you need them to be. The wheels on here have an aluminium braking surface, so the pads stop them really well. Do they feel nice and smooth and effortless like disc brakes? Well, hydraulic disc brakes at least. No. They feel a little bit spongy. But bear in mind, we have been spoiled by being able to use really high-end disc brake systems with absolutely no resistance in the system. The new SRAM Red, which we've been riding recently, the group set retails for £4,000, £4,500. Of course, it's going to feel leagues above this. For the price point, you're getting Claris, which is a fantastic group set. You got levers you can reach easily from the drop handlebars. It does everything you want it to do. And the shifters feel really comfortable as well. Livability. This gets full marks. 10 out of 10. It's got a normal bar, normal stem, normal seat post. Everything's external. You can service it yourself with pretty basic tools. You can switch bars and seat posts and stems as you like. It's top marks. There's a sticker on the stem. It says blender. What does blender mean? Market comparison. This bike has a problem because at this price, it's going directly up against the Triban 520, the juggernaut from Decathlon. Luckily for Trek, that bike is not as well spec'd as it used to be. But still, for £700, right now you're getting 10-speed microshift and semi-hydraulic disc brakes. This Triban that we're talking about used to come with a 105 group set at the same price, which was absolutely crazy. I guess they've run out of stock now, and things have had to change. Specialized make an Alley, but that starts at £1,000 with disc brakes. Giant make a Contend with rim brakes, but that starts at £849, quite a bit more expensive. So what are you gonna go for? Simplicity and arguably a more aesthetically pleasing frame, or a spec that punches way above its price tag? The choice is yours.
We think this is a sick bike. Could you race it? Absolutely yes. Is it a good candidate for being upgraded over time? Absolutely. However, the caveat to that is what we don't know is where technology is going to move in the future. We are concerned that rim brake options are going to be less available, quick release options are going to be less available, and that is definitely something to consider. So as cool as this bike is, because of that, I can only put it in pretty good.
That is absolutely outrageous. I'm not allowing that. The only thing I can mark this bike down on is the tyre selection. I wish it came with 28s. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. I would choose this bike any day if I was going for an entry-level bike, so it is in want. I would look at that in my kitchen every day and think that is a very cool bike, I want to ride it. Long live the rim brake. That marks the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please put in the comment section down below, what other sub £750 bikes should we be looking at? Please subscribe to this channel for more. See you guys soon.
Wait, we actually forgot, so put it in somewhere. Special thanks to Team Cycles for lending us this bike. It was very kind of them to do it, and we will chuck it back to you soon, and we'll hopefully not have damaged it too much that you can't resell it. Link in the description to their website. If you're in the Northeast and you want a track bike, they are your dudes.